Alright guys, what is going on? It is about 10 o'clock in the morning here and it is a balmy 7 degrees, and that wind might as well just be a knife because it goes straight through you. Anyway, so basically I'm just prioritising this sprayer at the moment. I want to get it ready to do grass freeing, so spraying grasses out of our legume crops, because that's going to come around before we know it. I'm doing a fair bit of work here to the boom, just stuff that I've been wanting to get done for a while that I haven't done. I've got some nozzle bodies down here on the ground. I've been pulling these apart, washing them out, and I'm lubing the O-rings and putting them back on, because basically I couldn't turn these to rotate the nozzle properly. So I'm just doing that. It's just, like I said, it's just a job that I've been wanting to do that I just never got time before seeding. So there's been a few other things I've been doing on here as well. I've put some new taps on the ends of these sections of the boom, because there's a few spots where they didn't have taps, and it makes it really hard to clean out the boom, like when we run all clear and that through it. But I have washed this thing down, I've run all clear through it, so we're just, I'm going to fuel it up, just get it all ready to go, greased, everything done to it that I need to, so that we can put it to the back of our mines. So this is what this should do. They should spin nice and easily, and these were getting to the point where you'd try and turn it and it would just snap the whole nozzle body off. So it's just so you can pivot around to different nozzles for different spraying applications. So it's nice to have it done. Got to change this hose here because it's getting a bit kinky on me. Kinky. But no, in all honesty, I think it's actually slightly too short, and when the boom's folded back in, it pulls quite tight around the corner, and then it gets jammed up under there and it kinks over. So we'll throw a new hose on. We're going to make it a little bit longer though, so we avoid that and just have it dangling down a little bit. I can see myself breaking some of these plastic bloody fittings, poly fittings. We'll see how we go. Now it might look a bit silly doing that, but I can tell you right now, this is different to what the other side is. The hoses run all the way up there. I don't know, this hose was just getting jammed under there all the time because it was getting pulled too tight. So when the boom goes back, this should be better. I'd rather have it a little bit too floppy. I can always shorten it if I need to. So these are the stainless steel caps on the ends of the boom sections that I've been replacing with taps. And I'll show you why in a sec. Well, basically this one's going to prove me wrong, but what you end up getting is a whole heap of build up down the end here. The other end, the other side of the boom that I did was just absolutely gunked up. Probably 25–30% of this was just full of just gunked up old product, and it just sits there, you can't get it out. So by taking these taps off the end here, these caps, and putting taps on there, I can crack them open just like any of the other ends of the boom, just so we can clean it out properly. You can see every other section on the boom's got these taps. That's my thought process anyway, because I've had a lot of trouble in the past. When you run all clear through, it tends to strip all the old product that's in the lines out, and then I just have trouble with it blocking up down the end of these boom sections all the time. Just because, like I said, it just sits there and eventually it ends up going into the nozzle. So anyway, that's one off. We'll put a tap on there, a 90 degree and a tap, and we'll do the other one as well. Well, this side looks almost 100% better than what the other one did. Got a feeling that's why they didn't put taps on here, because this is where it breaks out if you hit like a fence or you smash it on the ground or something. So got to kind of be a little bit careful here of where I position everything, but I think I should be okay. I'm just going to pull this section of the boom back, because this is where it breaks out if you hit something. Could you just watch and just make sure these aren't going to hit anything?
What,
like each other? Yeah.
Yeah, all good. All good.
Well, it shouldn't go back any further than that, so...
Yeah, it misses it pretty clearly. The only thing that's hitting is like that in the pipe.
Oh yeah, no, that's alright, that's just rubber hose. I've got to zip tie all this stuff up anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Quick recap for everyone. 120 nozzle bodies have been removed, cleaned, lubricated and put back together. We've got a couple of new taps on this side here for cleaning out the boom. Made a bit of a repair to that. I'm just waiting to put that back on my auto height sensor. I've done that hose, I've folded it up. I could probably take an inch off that absolutely max, because when I fold it up, it comes right under there. So I'm pretty happy with that, that's all good. Re-secured some hydraulic hoses in here with some rubber over them so they don't rub. Did that both sides. The same up here. Bit of rubber around some hoses, stop them rubbing. Washed, cleaned, decontaminated. Absolutely beautiful. Next thing I got to do down here, just ignore the fact that there's a bit of stainless missing there, but we're going to rejig our fence line nozzle because I've snapped it off both ears. It was just mounted on the end here. What I'm going to do, I think, I've got a T-piece here. I'm going to run a new fitting out of here. We're going to put a 1/2 inch barb on one side, and we're going to put our relay along here somewhere, right out of the way so it can't get snapped off or damaged or broken. And then we're going to run 1/2 inch hose down here. I'm going to have to figure out some way to mount a little nozzle body on the end here. And then I'm probably going to put something over it to protect it, so that if I do manage to get hooked on a bit of wire or something like that, it'll just slide over the top and it won't rip the nozzle body off. This was supposed to be a quick clean and decontamination, and now it's turned into a full birthday, half a pre-season even. But yeah, there was just stuff that I couldn't do before seeding because it was sitting there without a wheel motor and a wheel. So anyway, we'll get it done now. Hello, what are you doing? Old Sleeping Beauty back there. A baby with a baby. Funny, isn't it? I don't really like all these poly fittings, but that's just what I've got, so we'll have to do. So I snapped off that 90-degree barb in there when I pulled this off here. What do you reckon my chances are of salvaging that? So just replace the hose. Got him. So this here is my solenoid. I think I called it a relay before, but that's definitely not what it is. But what I got to do is mount this somewhere along here. I've already got my power wire here, obviously, because I have had this on here before, but I'm just trying to think. I was almost thinking about mounting it there, but I don't know whether that much of a bend in the hose is going to be that much of a problem. It's either that or I bring it down here a little bit more. I could always weld something onto the boom, face it that way, the wires would connect straight up, almost dead in line, bolts would be at the top then. Geez, that almost sounds like a plan, doesn't it? A little bit of extra work, but I think it'll be worth it. Well folks, it is a new day here and a new week, and Another failed weather forecast has occurred over the weekend. That is 2 in a row. 2 weekends in a row we were supposed to get up to 15 millimetres of rain, and both weekends I think we've ended up with about 3 or 4. So it is just so frustrating at the moment. But there's rain out there, it's just not getting us. So that's a good thing, I suppose. But anyway, I've just been doing a whole heap of running around this morning. Got the sprayer back in here, just trying to get this fence line nozzle finished off. Just trying to figure out, well, I figured out what I'm going to do here. I'll show you guys, and look, it might be stupid, I don't really know, but that's what I've decided on. So I got this piece of angle iron here that I've actually trimmed down on one side, drilled a whole heap of holes in it for my U-bolt, which I also made. But yeah, I'm basically going to attach this. I'm going to weld this on this corner right here, and then I've got some adjustment. That's the idea of these holes here. I can move the nozzle wherever I like, so that's just going to sit on there like so. We'll tack it, we'll straighten it all up, and then we'll finish it off, give it a coat of paint, and then we'll be able to attach our little nozzle body on there, and should be a good thing. But I will actually put something over the top of this. I'm going to loop something over the top, preferably rounded or smooth. So I haven't decided on what I'm going to do yet, just in case this section here goes back into some fence. It'll keep the wire off the actual nozzle itself and hopefully stop it from getting busted. But first things first, we'll get this mounted on here, and then we'll take it from there. Isn't it funny that this is what I thought of doing, and someone would probably look at that and go, that is just so stupid, why did you do that? But that's what I did, and yeah, look, it should give a little bit of protection. The big thing is that we're going to have the solenoid back down there, and we won't snap that off again. If we do hit this, we're only going to damage the nozzle, which is good, because I don't want to be snapping off those solenoids every single time I hit a fence. Or hit a fence the wrong way, and it happens more than it should. So yeah, anyway, she's not pretty, but it'll yeah, it should give us a bit of protection. I don't claim to be some amazing manufacturer or anything like that. I'm a farm welder. Alright, so we are all done here. Hopefully I'll never ever break one of those off again, which I shouldn't with it being like that. Yeah, nozzle's all on down there. I've left this hose here long and coiled up a little bit because I'll just test it out and I'll see if I need to adjust it either way, but there's enough length there for it to go all the way to those end holes, so I'll check all that out when I got some water in there, but she's looking good. So yeah, we'll throw some grease and some fuel in this beast, park it back up, and I've already got a few jobs just about lined up for it. We've got some lucerne flea and some vetch, and there's probably a couple of paddocks of vetch that we could almost start grass freeing now, so we'll probably be busy with it soon. Half down, half to go. Well, that thing is largely ready to go for in-crop spraying. A few little bits and pieces left to tidy up, but we'll park that up for now. Just thought I'd give you guys a quick update down here. Yeah, we've got a couple of problem areas with some wheat, so I just thought I'd show you guys what's going on there. So this is a paddock of wheat behind me here, and you might not be able to see it from the GoPro, but the northeastern corner of this paddock it looks completely barren from down here. So I'll put some drone footage up that I took this morning, and you'll probably be able to see it a little bit better from there. But this has looked like this ever since the crop started coming up. And if you've been following us along on Facebook, you would have seen a couple of weeks ago I posted about possibly reseeding some wheat. Now, we had the agronomist come out a couple of weeks ago after I'd had a look at the paddock, and we agreed that we were going to leave it for a good 10 to 14 days. It's been 10 to 14 days now. It still looks pretty dang bare up there, although it doesn't look quite so bad with the drone, but there's still some patchy spots. Just before the agronomist came out, I scratched around and I thought, oh geez, I reckon some of this seed's toast. It had just turned into mush. There was seed sitting there that it didn't even look like it was trying to sprout, but I think it's just strictly soil type up there. That soil is called Bay of Biscay. It works up extremely crumbly and sort of almost cloddy at times, and it was just probably very poor seed to soil contact, and that needs a lot of moisture to wet it up. It's very dark, sticky soil when it's wet, and it shrinks and cracks open when it's dry. But anyway, I think if it stays looking the way it is now, I'm just going to bring the roller in here and we're going to roll this paddock, and then we'll cut it in the spring for hay. I had the hay exporters onto me the other day asking if I had any hay. I said, well, I might have some wheat hay because I've got a paddock out here that just doesn't want to grow at the moment, but it is looking better. I don't know, it's been in the ground and had moisture on it for about 6 weeks now, so if it ain't out the ground now, I don't know when it's going to come out the ground. But in good news, and the other reason that I wanted to come down here was to show you guys what the rest of the wheat on the farm is looking like, or around home anyway. Most of it's sort of looking like this. 3 to 5 leaf generally. Whether it looks good in the camera, I don't know, because the sun's absolutely belting down in my face. But we got a rain coming here in, look, a couple of days, thinking around 10 millimeters. And typically I would not even dream about feeding wheat at this stage of its growth cycle, or even this time of the year, but it is such a late season, and I've got wheat on canola stubble. Now wheat, canola, barley, they all love nitrogen. We're going to spread urea on there, nitrogen based fertilizer. It's going to be a bit deficient, that wheat, because we can only put so much fertilizer down the tubes with our seed, because we put them down the same tube on the air seeder. So I'm thinking that we're going to go out and maybe knock off a couple of paddocks of urea spreading this afternoon and maybe tomorrow morning, because I can see what's going to happen. If we miss this front, when the next front comes, absolutely everything, all the barley, the canola, it'll all be ready for top dressing, and it'll be an absolute mad dash. So I guess what I mean when I say it's such a late season is, you know, we talk with the agronomist and we all kind of agree that there's very minimal risk of overfeeding a crop too early this year. I suppose the risk is if you get a nice early break, you got a bucket load of fertilizer up front or early on, lots of moisture, good rain, you know, that crop could put a lot of that fertilizer into producing bulk, which if you come to spring and it dries up, you got to try and support all this bulk. You could potentially not be putting as much protein into the grain. So we typically feed the crop a little bit later, especially wheat, because we want it to get that nice mix between bulking up and putting protein into grain. But there's very little risk of it bulking up too much this year, because we're already 7 weeks away from spring and these crops are just itty bitty. So it's so cold here now, they're not really going to grow all that much. And if we hit a dry spell during September, which, let's face it, this is mid-north South Australia, entirely possible, these crops will just stress out and bolt up to head anyway. So, you know, we're not going to be putting too much effort into bulking up this year. That's really what I'm saying. So look, if we can get on the front foot now and get a couple of paddocks done, it'll just make life easier as we go on. So yeah, we might hook onto the spreader now. I've got to straighten the vanes on one of the spinners, maybe throw a bit of grease into it, just check it over, and yeah, we'll jump into a bit of spreading this evening / tomorrow morning. But yeah, the good news is, guys, that everything else is looking pretty good. All the rest of the crops are looking pretty good around the farm. It's just 1 or 2 paddocks. Most of the barley's up out the ground. Got a good stand of canola. Beans are coming through. So things are looking all right. But we had the big bearing failure here out at Belaley, if you were watching that episode. And a couple of these veins are bent back quite significantly. That's supposed to be straight. So I'm just going to straighten these up. I'll get the oxy out here and we'll heat it up and give them a bash and throw a bit of grease in the spinners, and hopefully we'll be right to get through a couple of loads of urea. Alright, that is about ready to roll. Run over the road and put an auger under a bin, and yeah, we'll be ready to spread then. I'll just shoot over there in the ute, because who knows whether I'll need any fuel or anything over there. Who knows what surprises we'll find. Alrighty guys, I am going to leave this video here now. If I have time, I'll try and take the drone with me this afternoon or in the morning, and maybe try and get some footage of that drone, of the spreading. Oh man, one of these days I'll get my life sorted out. But anyway, just want to say thank you for watching the video. We really do appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, just consider liking and subscribing, because that really helps us out. You guys have yourselves a good one. Until next time, see ya.